These top 5 Edmonton communities are unlike anything you're going to find across the country. I'm going to share insider information you can't find anywhere else, so stick around till the end for the best part. Hey everybody, my name is Leanna Martens. I'm an Edmonton real estate agent, and welcome to my channel, Moving to Edmonton. Edmonton has so many great communities, so it was actually really difficult for me to narrow it down to only 5. So this is part 2 of a 2-part series. So these communities have unique access to green space, river valley. They have great schools, or are within the price point of $400,000 to $600,000 for affordability. All 5 of these communities have inventory in the 300,000s and some over $1 million, but the average comes in within $400,000 to $600,000. So I'm going to cover 5 topics for each one of these communities that I analyze. 1, location. 2, community history. 3, anything that's notable about the community that I think is important for people to know. And 4, schools, of course, for family communities. And 5, the price range. So let's dig in and start with our very first community, which is Forest Heights. In East Central Edmonton is where it's located, and Forest Heights overlooks the North Saskatchewan River Valley to the north and to the west. There's 4 bridges that provide access to destinations on the north side of the river, and the neighborhood is bounded on the north and west by the North Saskatchewan, and on the east by Wayne Gretzky Drive and 75th, and on the south by 98th Avenue, and 106th Ave cuts right through the neighborhood. The history of Forest Heights: it was established in 1920, so it's an older community because it's closer to the center of the city. Notable features: so Forest Heights location is what makes it so spectacular because it overlooks the North Saskatchewan. Its proximity to trails, walking paths, White Avenue, Cloverdale's at the bottom of the hill, and Folk Fest every year, the Ice District, all the while being quiet, green, and an abundant family community. So let's talk Forest Heights schools. There's 4: Forest Heights Elementary School, McNally High School, St. Bride Catholic School, and École Michael Jean, grades 7 to 10, which is a francophone school. The average price for real estate is $604,000, which really still keeps it quite affordable for families, and prices range anywhere from $400,000 to $1 million plus in some of the pristine locations overlooking the river valley. Here's why I love Forest Heights. So Forest Heights is a community. It's green, it's lush, and again, it's because it's on the river valley. It's got beautiful natural light, and as you drive through, the homes are in really good shape. And this is a community, as I said, that was built in the 1920s, but most of the inventory you're really going to see in there is like 1950s, 60s, and then because of its location, because it's prime on the river valley, that's what makes it such an amazing pick, because you have the 1950s original housing, lots of it is renovated and updated, and then in the prime lots, you're going to have these infills that are going in, and those infills are going to be anywhere from $700,000 all the way up to $2 million. So between that is where you're getting this average price point that still makes it accessible depending on where you want to be. So for a first-time family, it's going to be like a 1950, 1960, probably renovated bungalow. And it's got good schools, amazing location. It's a good family location, access to green space, parks, nature, great community, great school. It really is one of my favorites. Hey, if you're getting value from this, make sure you hit that subscribe button so everybody can get the information they need, just like you. So community number 2 is the infamous Summerside. It is Edmonton's one and only lake community. So the location, it's located south of Ellerslie Road, 9th Avenue Southwest, west of 66th Street and north of 25th Avenue, and it's east of 91st and Parsons Road. The history: it's actually named after a city in Prince Edward Island, and the construction began in the early 2000s, built by Brookfield Residential. So the most notable feature obviously is Summerside Lake. It's a 13-hectare and 28-foot deep lake located in the western portion of the community. Summerside Lake was Edmonton's first purpose-built man-made lake. Residents have access to stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, fishing, haul rentals, community sports, and much more. Schools. There are 2 schools in Summerside. You've got Michael Strambitsky, which is a public K-9, and then you have got Father Michael Muro, which is a Catholic K-9 as well. Real estate. So let's talk prices. The average price of real estate in Summerside is $554,000, which makes it very affordable for young families. Forest Heights is one of my favorite communities. All of these are actually. Summerside is an amazing family community because of the lake, especially if you have young families. It's definitely a go-to that I would highly recommend. So now let's go into our third top 5 communities. Chapelle. So Chapelle's location is the neighborhood in the southwest Edmonton, and it was established in 2008. Chapelle is bounded on the west by White Mud Creek, north by 25th Avenue, and the east by the future 127th Street, and the south by the city limits, which is 41st Avenue Southwest. So let's talk about the notable features in Chapelle. The 6,600 square foot social house is a huge draw for families because of the activities and the opportunities that it provides for getting to know your community, your neighbors. There's a tool shed. There is a common area, games, party rooms. There's consistent programming. There's seasonal activities. There is an NHL-sized rink with its own Zamboni. It has a playground. It has a pergola, and it has a community tool shed, just to name a few. In addition to those things, other draws to Chapelle are the walking paths that are throughout the community that really make it accessible and easy just to commune with nature for you and your family. So let's talk about schools. There are 2 schools. There's Donald R. Getty, which is a K-9 school, and it's located in Chapelle, and it serves the west community of Chapelle. And then we have Garth Worthington, which is another K-9 school, and that serves people in Chapelle East, or the community of Heritage Hills in Chapelle. Now, how much do homes cost? Let's talk about real estate prices in Chapelle. So for all segments of the market, the average price comes in at $510,000. So that makes it really affordable, and it's a very diverse community. You're going to find all ethnicities, and it's going to be very similar to coming from, if it's Ontario, coming from Vancouver. So it's a really great community for first-time home buyers and more. Now it's time for our 4th favorite top 5 community, and it's one of my favorites. It's Aldergrove. I just helped a family find a house here about a month ago, and it reinvigorated how much I love it because it's so accessible. I love the type of inventory that you get, and there are some other notable features in terms of location, proximity to other things, and amenities that you would like. So let's start with your location. So the location of Aldergrove is in West Edmonton, and the neighborhood is bounded on the north by 87th Ave and on the east by 178th Street, the south by White Mud, and the west by the Henday. So the history of this community, it's likely named for the local alder tree, and it's the most common species is the speckled alder. And this community was developed in the 1970s and the 1980s, and the architecture of that time is why I love this community, for the type of home, the size of lot, and the price point. So let's talk about some notable features of Aldergrove. So it's almost directly across from West Edmonton Mall. So the mall has West Edmonton Mall movie theater, it has the skating rink, you've got the LRTs, the buses, and it's basically 5 minutes to the Anthony Henday, 5 minutes to the White Mud. So you have access, direct access, anywhere 15 to 30 minutes anywhere in the entire city. And in terms of the community build and layout, so communities built in this time, they followed a strategy of lots of multifamily units on the arterial routes. So those are things like condos and row homes. And in this community in Aldergrove, they build the larger single family detached further through the west side of the community. Let's find out about schools, because everybody needs a good school for their kids. So Aldergrove only has 1 school in the community, but there's 3 that are in the adjacent communities, which is basically within 5 to 10 minutes. So the Aldergrove School is a K-6, and it has a connections program for children with special needs. St. Benedict is a K-6 Catholic school, and that is in the adjacent community. And my son actually goes there, and there's a hockey academy there. It's a fantastic school. I would highly recommend it. The 3rd school, which is in an adjacent community, Belmead, is a K-6 public school, and it includes full-day kindergarten. So there's only a certain amount of schools in Edmonton that have full day, and this is one of them. And it also has the interactions program for children on the autism spectrum. And then 4th, we have Limburn. And again, that's an adjacent community within 5 minutes, and that's a K-6 as well. And that school includes the Cogito program for academics, and it also has the interactions program for children on the autism spectrum. So there's quite a bit of school opportunity and diversity with specialty programs. Now let's talk about the prices for real estate and a little bit about the style of real estate. So the average price is $447,000. So you absolutely cannot go wrong with that price point. So that's like the best price so far. And that's what I love about it is these homes built in the 1970s and 80s, they're larger homes, they're larger square footages. So homes built like in Forest Heights, for example, they were built 10 to 20 years earlier. Homes built in the 50s and the 60s, they're smaller. They're bungalows. They're L-shaped bungalows. They might be a 1.5 story. If you look up with those ones, they're good. But they've got a limited square footage. So they're going to be 1,000 to 1,200 square feet max on the main floor. And then you'll have the basement as well. But these homes in Aldergrove, they're substantially larger. Like these homes, you can get 16, 18, 2,100 square feet, and that's main and above, not including your basement. So in the 80s and the 70s, it was all about more is better. So they built much larger homes, but on the same size, 50-foot frontage lot. So you get a very large home and a very large lot. So it's the best of both worlds. And if you find something within that $450 to $550 price point, you can get them renovated and they're gorgeous homes. In addition, these homes were built by the same builders who built out some of the most exclusive communities right around Wolf Willow, for example, right around the river valley. So it's the exact same style of home, but just built in a different location. And without that pristine price point of $1 million plus, you can get that here and still with a renovated home, and it just makes it much more accessible. So this is why I really love Aldergrove as an option and an opportunity depending on the housing stock that you like. So now let's move into our fifth and final community. This is going into a newer community called Secord. Secord is bounded to the north of Stony Plain, it's Highway 16A, south by 92nd Avenue, east by Winterburn Road, which is 215th Street, and west by 231 Street. That's the city boundary. So the history of Secord, it's a newer community, so you're going to get newer homes. Planning began in 2007, so you're going to be getting 2-story homes, and the neighborhood is named in honor of Richard Secord. So Richard S. Secord was hired in 1883 as the 4th teacher of the Edmonton Public School. He was later approached by John A. McDougall, who was a prominent businessman and later a 2-term Edmonton mayor, to accept a position as a clerk. A partnership between McDougall and Secord soon materialized, and he became a shrewd fur trader. They invested together, became partners, and eventually took up private banking. Now, what are some notable features of Secord? There are 3 ponds, 3 playgrounds, walking trails, and, wait for it, a 4.4 hectares of wetland make this a really beautiful family community, and that's why it makes my top 5 list. So it's very culturally diverse. Your accessibility to green space is really fantastic, and it's a good, safe family community, and we're about to talk about schools and price points so you can figure out what you think. So, schools. We've got 2 schools. We've got David Thomas King. It's a public K-9 school. And then we've got Richard Secord Public School, which has French immersion and a specialty Cogito academic program. Now let's talk prices. So the average price of homes in Secord is $503,000. And you're going to get mostly single family detached. There definitely is row homes, for sure half duplexes, but there's a minority of condominiums. And so that's what's bringing your price point in around that $500,000. So it's still very accessible for the young family, depending on where you want to be in there. And it doesn't have to be a first-time home buyer. It still can be a move-up buyer because they have lots of different types of inventory throughout. Hey, great job on making it all the way through. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really hope that you got good value from that. So if you have any more questions, or maybe you might be considering a relocation, looking to buy, make sure you reach out to me and my team, because we take the stress out, friends, and we make it so easy. Information is below, and you can just schedule a very quick and easy discovery call. You can email, text, however you'd like to reach out to us. We'll be here for you. If you like this, then make sure you check out this next video, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye.